Welcome back to the game room.
I don't know why I'm still doing this.
Oh,
Oh my god.
And yes, once again,
He
Will is
blew
just
out his
laughing at
own-
himself.
He blew out his fucking microphone just doing that right now.
Oh my god. Can you not hear me?
no, you're good now.
Alright, good.
Yeah.
You were too loud for your microphone.
Yeah? Well,
As
good. It means
usual.
I got powerful lungs and boat ramp champ. So fuck you, Tino, if you're beer drinking.
I have water.
This is a local brew.
I just downed like a Gatorade and stuff because I got back from a workout, so
What
I'm
are you
done.
doing trying to be healthy?
Dave's actually the healthy one of all four of us, so I mean...
No, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not. I weigh more than all of them combined. The only
you
thing
know
I
what?
got going for me is that I
Here's
can
the-
bench 220.
But the other thing, too, is that you've also been vastly improving your physical fitness, which is something I haven't been able to do because of my spine injury. But,
Fair enough.
dude, on the New York trip, when we're walking around all day, you're able to keep up with everyone, even people who weigh less than 200 pounds. That's, a pretty impressive accomplishment.
Well, you guys
I'm
motivate me to try harder.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there goes Will's camera.
So, I don't know how long we are into the recording here,
podcast
guys.
The game
is
room,
going so
everybody.
very
Recording
well.
for some
The
reason
game
stopped
room.
at like 5
This
minutes.
is the quality that you deserve, America.
All right.
So you're just-
Recording. Wow! What a great
Tino.
episode!
I made sure to check that my Audacity was still recording. Then we are, so we're good.
I don't know what
So-
happened.
So
Probably
I
when
want
you were
the-
messing with your camera.
So
You did something,
I want
maybe.
what I would like to see is that there was some diversity in move set in terms of the different weapons that you picked up in Breath of the Wild. I want that to be deepened, and as a consequence, I want weapon durability to disappear.
Oh yeah,
Because
I want
want to-
durability to be gone.
I
Absolutely.
I want you to pick up a spear, and you can find, like, instead of finding 12 different spears, there's only 4. But they all do crazy crap, and I want the moveset list to be deep. I'm gonna fucking say it. I want, like, Dark Souls level of bullshit. Because
Aren't they
Dark
making
Souls
that game though?
What?
They're making a Square Enix game like that, the Final Fantasy one, right?
Yeah.
Origin or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. I
So-
want that, but in Zelda.
So,
They'll never do that though, because Nintendo is all about accessibility. They'll never make a game like that.
Oh,
At
no,
least
no, it doesn't
not
have-
a
it
Nintendo,
doesn't have
not
to
a
be
first
Dark-
party thing.
It doesn't have to be Dark Souls difficult, but I am talking about this kind of depth. Because here's the thing, you can get through Dark Souls just by pressing R1 until you win.
Sure.
All right.
Are you talking about the lore? Because there's hardly any lore in Dark Souls.
No. The weapon style move sets. Like, goddamn, you can do combos and shit in, like, Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Like, they look slow.
Can you though?
But there is
because it's
tech.
regular attack and hard attack. Are you talking about the different weapon types, like the spear and the sword and sword and shield?
Yes,
Is that what
and
you're
He's
there's-
talking about combos.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tino.
but there's no combos really. It's either a regular slash or hard slash.
There was
Steve,
shit you could
combo.
do it. There was shit you could do in Dark Souls, and especially later on in games like Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, I agree with you because they did change it a little bit, but Dark Souls, I think the combat was very simplistic, in my opinion.
I'll say that the Dark Souls 1 did allow you to get away with doing poise shit. Which admittedly is hilarious, which is just, hey, do you want to just have universal super armor? You'll lose health, but they won't physically move you.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Do
Yeah.
combo.
You know what? You know what I hope? I hope FromSoft will finally get magic right in the new game they're making. Because in
I
Dark
hope
Souls,
so.
it's always been either really broken or totally useless. And
I mean,
they just-
so
they just
speaking
have
of
to-
E3, speaking of E3, we now know what a George R. R. Martin's been doing instead of freaking writing goddamn Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, finishing his books.
well, he doesn't have to anymore. HBO did it for him.
No, but he hates how they ended. He actually put
He
that in
actually
the
does,
interview.
and I think he's
Yeah,
gonna go back to it.
I know, but it doesn't really matter anymore. He's gonna die in like 2 years, and so like just fucking do something else.
That is
Wow,
that is
okay.
a sad. Hold on, that is a sad thing we have to address that happened.
Berserk?
No, yeah, rest in peace, Kentaro Miura.
Yeah, you know what? That fucking legend.
Listen,
Yeah.
some people are going to be sad that that series didn't have an ending, but I'm going to say this. That series was so beloved, and people were posting their favorite panels all over Twitter, and no
Yeah.
one had the same 2 panels.
Well, you
It
know what was
was
really
insane.
funny? It's someone actually posted in a forum that I frequent that the fact that Berserk's ending is that it doesn't end kind of fits the theme of Berserk. Like, look at all the shit
'cause
that Guts went through.
It's kind of good because the arc they were starting to go for was Guts actually letting go of his anger, which is and it's and like where it ended up ending is kind of perfect in that way.
Honestly, though, from what I've heard, he left a lot of notes with his like working staff.
That's
they
the
might
thing where
finish.
they
the
might,
series.
but do we want them to? Is a good question.
You know what?
This isn't.
I mean, they should just leave that thing on infinite hiatus. It would be very Berserk of them to
Yeah,
just
It
keep
would,
it on hiatus
but I
forever.
would also like to see what the notes that he had were. Like, because you know it's not going to be his exact vision, but you know it's how he had an idea of how he wanted this to end. And I would like to see that to some extent. I want both. I want it to be an infinite hiatus because you know what? There's no one else who could finish that story. But I also want to see, what the fuck is it? I want to see how he wanted it to end. You know?
If
I
he
think
left,
that.
Yeah.
if he
agree.
left
Sorry,
his
go ahead,
notes with
Tino.
them, then that tells me that he wanted it to be finished by the people he left it with. That's the way I look at it. But I mean, maybe
So-
unless they were just found, I don't know.
I will
Yeah.
disagree with you on one point. He died at like 54 from like an aortic dissection.
Yeah. So it's hard to say.
Which
that he
is-
knew
Oh,
he
okay.
was
So
gonna
it's
die.
not like he knew he was gonna die and left a bunch
Yeah.
of notes.
Well, that's the
Okay.
thing. He may have because he was like, the reason he took so many hiatuses was like, hey, this schedule's killing me, because being a mangaka is physically incredibly stressful, and take breaks when you work, people. Just
Yeah.
do it for your health. Because boy howdy, trying to maintain a schedule for a schedule that insane, it kills you. It just straight up kills you.
As they say, you work to live, not live to work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
But yeah, so back onto the topic. So George, so it's funny because, and I'm stealing this directly from Castle Super Beast because Wooly said this when they discussed Elden Ring, was because it's funny because Martin does have a creative process because they asked, because all he did for Elden Ring was create the world. And then FromSoft put a Dark Souls game on top of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's kind of what we wanted. And so the problem is FromSoft has always been very much like a video game company. Make the cool thing, decide story later, and they lucked out that it turned out kind of cohesive and interesting. Martin's just like, okay, we're going to start by drawing a map, and I have to imagine Miyazaki, after Hidetaka Miyazaki, the guy from FromSoft, after getting all the translations, just went, a what?
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to Martin's blog post about that goddamn company is crazy, and I love them.
so to
Definitely
finish
up his alley.
So to finish up Natalie's question, I would also like to see weapon durability be gone. That's one feature I'd like to see removed. Or in the alternative, they let you repair weapons yourself, and you could buy and sell weapons. Because if they had a system more like how they have it in like Fallout 3 or something, I'd be more okay with weapon durability. Also, if they keep weapon durability, they should have it where if you use a weapon enough times, your proficiency with it goes up, which in turn like increases its durability. Like if every time you swing a weapon you're not proficient in, it decreases its durability by 20%. When you're proficient, it should decrease it by like 10%. or 5% to show like, oh, I'm better at using this weapon. I can make it last long.
Yeah.
We didn't get Tino's answer to this question, but I don't think you've played Breath of the Wild.
As somebody who has not played Breath of the Wild, I would like to see the knife glitch from Resident Evil.
Yeah, boy.
There's not that, but Breath of the Wild does have something that's just as cool. It's not a glitch though. You have a frame perfect one-hit kill in that game. And the frame perfect thing is, if you time a deflection with your shield right, you can parry fucking anything, including things that you normally wouldn't be able to parry. Like, I don't know, the goddamn lasers.
Yeah, the laser guy. You just parry that shit and he dies in one hit.
The benefits of carrying a mirror around with you.
No mirror. You can do this with a pot lid.
Yeah, it's just like a regular ass shield.
It is.
I don't know how it works.
A very, very polished shield.
No, it's just
Like
a very
said,
Zelda. It's just a very Zelda
first
fantasy world shield.
Oh.
Yeah, no, one of the first shields you can get in Breath of the Wild is a literal pot lid.
Yeah.
You take it off of a stove and you use it to block attacks, and if you time it just right, you can deflect the ancient laser beams from the ancient laser robots.
Samwise Gamgee would be proud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, real quick, before we get to Tino's topic, Tino and I have a message for you guys. Steve, Dave, get on our fucking level. When you guys were too busy and whatever to record last week, Tino and I cut some promos for the show.
Yeah, that we won't get to use because it turns out we actually do. It was a promo for something that would happen in July, except we got to record now. So
Tino, we can use those promos anytime to show how dedicated you and I both are to this endeavor.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
How time-locked are these promos?
Not at all.
Are they evergreen?
Kinda, yeah. Because, look, basically, so the comments about us not getting a podcast recorded in June are now completely stale. But every joke we told is evergreen.
I don't think our jokes were that good, but it was also late at night after a long day of work, and I was just
Yeah.
like,
Well, you know. Look, we had some good moments in there.
Some.
Okay. Well,
Fair enough.
wait,
Okay, Steve, you and I need
are
to...
you running them now?
No,
No.
you'll hear
Okay.
them eventually.
Okay. Well, then
Okay.
we could just move on to Tina's topic then.
Yeah. Also,
Take it away,
that's
dude.
another thing. I think at some point we should all record promos together, all four of us, just for funsies.
I think that would be better, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it at all. But anyway, Tino.
Right.
Take it away.
So, tonight I would like to talk to you about a very special game developer named Yoko Taro. I can
Oh,
already...
here we fucking go.
Oh, no.
Yep. That's pretty much the exact response that I expected from Dave.
Yeah.
If you have ever heard of Nier Automata, or Drakengard, he is the lunatic behind those games, and it's commonly known as the Nier franchise. And the thing about the Nier franchise is that trying to understand its story is frustrating, and it's frustrating not in the same way that, say, trying to understand Kingdom Hearts is frustrating.
I don't know about that.
No. Okay, here's the reason, Dave. The reason that it's hard to understand Kingdom Hearts is because everything in it is contradictory. They're just making stuff up and not consulting whether anything they've said before to see if it's actually consistent. And so there's all these yes, but that's all Kingdom Hearts is. Yes, but and all that kind of stuff. The reason the Nier franchise is frustrating to understand from a story perspective is because it's like you have a book, but you're reading every 5th chapter or so. There's a whole lot of connective tissue in between each game that ties them into each other, but they are either very, very tenuous when you try to find them inside the game itself, or it's all explained using stuff outside the game.
Or you got to play a whole different game altogether, like Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
14.
like Final Fantasy 14.
I will say this, Taro does this on purpose so that each game is a standalone thing, and you don't need to, I don't know, track down a fucking stage play to understand everything that happens in Nier Automata.
Well, okay.
That's true.
Shots at Resident Evil taken. By the way,
That's
Tino,
not a Resident Evil shot. That's a direct Nier shot.
Tino,
I'll explain later.
Let me just clarify something. You called it frustrating. No. Frustrating is when you lose like the remote control for your TV and the couch cushions. This is more along the lines of, hey, remember what Liam Neeson had to go through to save his family in every Taken movie? It's that level of, holy crap, I can't deal with this. By the way, a fun Yoko Taro fact, he helped design and bring to life Time Crisis 2.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I
he has
didn't
a storied
realize
history
that.
in the game industry. Oh, no, you'll find his credits on a lot of things, but he's not always been a director.
Yeah.
Right, right. I think Drakengard was really when he got to start doing his own thing, and then it just kind
Straight
of
up.
spiraled out of there. So
I do want to point out my favorite version of the connective tissue problem that Tino just mentioned. Hey, Tino, what's A2 a character of?
Kaine?
No, not that. I'm asking, what is she a character from?
Nier Automata.
Wrong. Nier Automata was her second appearance.
What? When was her first?
In the original Yorha stage play as attacker number 2. That's why she's called A2.
Okay. Are you trying to tell
Wait
me
a
that the
minute.
stage play came before the game?
Oh, yeah. So you have to understand, there was like a near decade-long gap between Nier 1 and Automata.
There's at least
Yeah,
3 stage plays before Nier Automata.
In which
No, there's
time,
one and there's two
in
more that
which
came
time,
out after
in
Automata.
which time
No.
he made Drakengard 3. So
Correct.
it's not like there was a decade-long gap. He was up to other games in the meantime. It's not
He
like
also
it's not
Talking
like
wrote
about just
the
the Nier franchise.
All right.
Yeah.
No, guys. I'm looking at
Yorha
the
is
wiki.
a stage play first.
No. I'm looking at the wiki.
well, no. The thing about
Drakengard 3.
Steve, the thing about the Drakengard and Nier franchises, they're actually the same franchise.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made it sound like you didn't realize that. Okay.
So Drakengard 3 came out in 2013. Nier Automata came out in 2017. There were 3 stage
Not long.
plays in 2014, 2015, and 2016.
I knew that there
All
was
right.
one. I didn't know there were 3.
And in 2014 and 2015, they're literally titled You're a Stage Play version 1.0 and You're a Stage Play version 1.1. The one in 2016 is titled Thou Shall Not Die 0. Wait, Thou Shall Not Die... Thou Shall Not Die 0?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Zero is the main character of Drakengard 3.
And then Thou Shall Not Die 0...
Will?
See, I'm learning stuff now that I didn't know about it. This is the connective tissue
It
problem.
is-
This is all like, critical stuff, and I didn't even know about it.
The spear's
It
not
is-
enough.
I disagree with Kino. I do believe the Taro verse is Kingdom Hearts level in terms of how convoluted it is. The difference is that when the pieces do converge, they converge beautifully, rather than being incoherent. I don't think he does that on purpose. I think he just has I think
Yes, he
he
does.
does make it up as he goes along. I think he's just better at it than Nomura is.
I think before he makes something canon, he checks to see whether it outright contradicts something else he's already done. And that's why that's why trying to make sense of it isn't frustrating from a contradictions perspective. It's just like it's like trying to piece together different pieces of like an ancient Sumerian tablet where there's large sections of it missing. That's
I'm gonna
where
ruin
the
this for
frustration
you.
comes from.
Uh-oh.
Every major part of the Draken Nier lore we have not seen, including all the stuff building up to what happened before the gameplay beginning of Nier 1. Those are all game pitches that he didn't get authorized.
Okay.
So because he doesn't say that outright, but this is clearly a story pitch for a video game you didn't get made.
Right.
So now it
right.
becomes backstory for the one that you did get made.
Well, no, that's a beautiful way to keep an idea alive if you think about it.
True.
And like personally, I would love to see a a Project Gestalt game, because that would help flesh out so much
My
of what actually
dream
happened.
is that is Drakengard 4.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
What dragon are you
That's-
gonna fly? They killed the only one at the end of the first Drakengard.
All of the magic that comes from Grimoire. So there's a thing that in the remake of Replicant that recently came out was lost from the original Nier, and it's a tiny little thing. For a split second, when you use the highest level of magic you can with Grimoire Vice in the original Nier Gestalt, the model of Angelus's head appears in your effects.
Ooh.
The
I
magic
didn't
is
know
red
that.
because the magic came from the frickin' dragon.
Hoo-ah. Now, was that specific to the Japanese version of the game?
That was in the American version as well, but
Okay.
it did not.
Okay, I must have missed
did
it.
not serve. It did not survive the remaking process, unfortunately.
Oh, nuts. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little thing. It's a split second. It's a frame perfect thing. You have to be looking very carefully to find it, which is why it was easily missed when they. That remake is impressive. Unfortunately, it also reminded a lot of people that the original Nier wasn't a great game.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
had good moments, but it drags in places.
well, I mean,
Yeah, well, it's once again, I think I'll repeat what I said. I play games for the story, not necessarily the gameplay mechanics, and people have complained about the gameplay mechanics.
look,
I
Tino,
will-
you
I
don't
will have
gotta
to
hide
admit-
it. We understand you play Nier Automata because you could hit both control sticks and make 2B's skirt explode and then climb up ladders. We all understand. You like looking at her butt.
That is the exact reason that I played Nier Automata.
See? You admit
Congratulations.
it.
It's not like
evidence.
it's not like the combat was very compelling.
I mean, I thought
Yeah.
it was, but
Damn.
then again, I don't normally play fighting games that have combos. Like that was kind of my first introduction to
It
that
just
whole
kind of
system.
reminded me of Devil May Cry, like that
So
kind of complexity.
so I'll say this as a guy who plays a lot of character action games. Nier Automata is not as deep as say a DMC or a Bayonetta, but it's pretty good. And even the remake of Replicant brought in some of that. And the gameplay of Replicant was in fact improved in the remake. What wasn't improved is a couple things. Tino, you enjoyed playing Nier for its story, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it 4 times later?
I enjoyed it on my second
No.
playthrough.
No.
Well, here's the thing. You know how Automata very seamlessly takes the 3rd and 4th playthrough and makes it part 2 of the game?
Oh, that's right. But Nier Gestalt, you just have to play it 4 times. Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And if
Yeah,
you
that-
don't get and there's weapons you can miss, and if you don't get all of them, you're locked out of the... They actually added in something that was cut from the original game, which is the proper ending E, which you should watch a video of, Tino, because it's got Automata lore.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
When you say play through the game 4 times, can you cheese it like you save right before the final boss and count that as 4 different playthroughs?
You can only do
No.
that for the last
No.
2.
That's not how it works, because basically what happens in Nier Replicant, you play through it 4 times, but each time you play through, a little bit more of the story is revealed, and you realize that the stuff that you thought was heroic was actually kind of villainous, because you start to hear stories from like some of the enemy's perspective, and you start learning stuff about the world you're in and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a...
Wasn't
it's
so
that
it's a
Automata's
nice
angle
idea.
kind
It
of,
just
too?
it was a great idea. It just, I think in Replicant / Gestalt, it wasn't implemented very well. It was implemented much better in Automata, where that
that's the
same
thing.
sort of story development happens, but you don't lose. You're not repetitively doing the same thing. First time playing through your 2B, second time your 9S, and third time, fourth time, like different things happen. So
Yeah, and so here's the thing. You only play Automata's first half twice. In Nier, you only play the first half. You play the first half twice at the beginning and the very end, and then you play the second time for the second half 4 fucking times. The only time you can do the save scum technique is, and when you're encouraged to, is at playthrough 3, and that's because the ending C and D is the binary choice.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's bullshit.
Yeah, well,
I can see Will's. I can see the smoke rising from Will's head.
I mean,
It
look,
might be the
I like.
headphones. We don't know yet.
It's a fascinating idea. It's just it's difficult to implement well without it being a bit of a drag, unless you like to just replay stuff.
Seeing so many endings that you could do in Automato really turned me off to playing that game, to be honest.
So I'll
Like, you know how like you have like what are there like
21 joke endings.
Yeah. And like
You
yeah,
have
like,
every
I
level
didn't have to do them, but the fact that they were available kind of irked me.
Your
That was-
inner completionist was like,
Steve,
Yeah.
They're collectible.
that
And
sounds
here's
like
the
your
thing.
problem.
I'm not saying it was their problem. It was my problem.
I know it
They're,
sounds like your problem.
they're a fucking collectible, man. And here's the thing about them. They are the culmination of a joke that Taro's been telling for the past two decades. Throughout all of his games, there has always been an ending A through E or an ending A through D. And he's like, you like this, fuckers? Enjoy endings A through Z? Go to hell? Shit, Square Enix? I'm going to roll on the goddamn floor about the Nier Automata t-shirt.
well, Steve, to your credit, I don't think that there is. Just because a game has multiple endings doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play every last one of them. Like I've been
and I didn't.
Well, just to give you an example, I've started replaying through the Mass Effect series because the Legendary Edition came out recently, and if I tried to play every possible combination of every different thing that you did in that game, like I would be doing it until I was 80. It can't be done.
Right.
Just,
Right. Sure.
So, just because there are multiple endings doesn't mean that you have to play all of them. At the end of the day, if you're not having fun, then start playing a different game.
There's also the problem so there's also the thing about the main endings of Taro's games, and especially in Automata, which is the most true and the most revealing of this, is that it's not ending A, B, C, and D. It's actually Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, and Act 5.
Right. Sure.
Right. Now, I will say that I did find it a little bit annoying that in order to get a hold of some of the truth bombs, you had to go play Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
And you had to do it at like level 80 or something. And I was like, no, I'm just going to watch somebody play this because
Which
I
you
don't
were
have time for
glad
this.
to.
In order to find out stuff about Nier Automata, you need to play Final Fantasy 14.
Yep. Get to level 80 and then
a-
do the Alliance raid of 25 people. Is it 25?
24. It's the 24.
24. Yeah. Sorry. 24.
So, a little explanation.
I think Will's gone.
We'll just rage quit. Yeah, it is.
So for our audience,
it's the video
sorry, go ahead,
equivalent.
Tino.
It's the video game equivalent of a crossover episode. That's what this was.
I did play the raid though, because I do play Final Fantasy 14, and it is a lot of fun. It's a very good raid. It is kind of frustrating though, but yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, and like I just meant frustrating from a story perspective. I'm like, okay, I have to.
Yeah.
Well, this is where it's starting to kind of edge into Kingdom Hearts territory because you have to go so many different places just to get all the pieces of information.
Sure,
So-
you couldn't just play Kingdom Hearts on one single console. You had to buy the DS game
or console
PSP
series,
games.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like, something like Halo, you can play it, like you can't play Halo 4 on the Xbox One, but you could if you had a bunch of Xboxes, you could play the whole series on it. But
Right.
Yeah,
to
that
the
doesn't-
credit of Square Enix, they have released like giant collections of Kingdom Hearts on Xbox One and PS4.
Sure,
Right,
but
right.
the frustrating part of Kingdom Hearts was a lot of people played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and then just forgot about the franchise for a while and got on with their lives, and then all of a sudden Kingdom Hearts 3 is out and they're like, "Oh, wow, it's been a long time," and they just haven't researched that there's been 8 other games that had come out
By
and
the way,
they told a whole lot of story that you didn't know about.
By the way, hey, to keep up our record of fucking Kingdom Hearts lore, the mobile game fucking ended, and its story is Taro levels of dark.
Oh, did you hear that they're making the mobile game?
Okay, I came right back for the
game?
Kingdom Hearts mobile game discussion. Great.
Yeah. You know
So
what?
I do want to
It's
share my
highly
favorite.
amusing how easy it is to push Will's buttons.
I do want to point out my favorite quote about the Nier raids in FF14, which is, "Holy shit! That raid series had more information about Nier's lore than Automata did."
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
it was frustrating. But that being said, I appreciated the way in which it was able to tie in all these different disparate threads from all the different games and kind of put them all in a unified place and be like, okay, yes, this is in fact a coherent lore that all exists in the same universe. Like, we finally found out exactly what those seeds of destruction are, right? We finally found out where the machines finally went. It turns out that they're kind of like the Combine, just invading alternate universes everywhere.
Yeah, and you can still just watch a video of someone playing that dungeon. It's the same outcome every single time, so it's not.
That's what I
in
did.
The sense, yeah, exactly. So there's.
I don't have time to get to level 80. I'm a busy man.
Yeah, so I don't think the barrier of entry is
anymore, you're
very
not.
high in that content. I think Kingdom Hearts is a lot worse.
That being said, viewers, for anyone who's interested in playing the award-winning MMO Final Fantasy XIV, it is free up to level 60, which includes...
Dude, is that the fucking meme for 14? Did you know
course
that you can play the game to level 60?
Of course it's the fucking meme!
Are we sponsored by Final Fantasy 14 now? Because
We're sponsored by every idiot that plays that game. Did you know that
This
you can play the
podcast
game
is
for free?
sponsored by Square Enix.
I was honestly hoping that we'd hold out for the Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, but I mean, I guess
They've been
man.
dragging their
No,
feet.
play it.
They're-
Play a good game instead.
No, you let's get sponsored by the Nier mobile game that's coming out.
That is... Well, no, it was out in Japan already, and now it's just being localized.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Does anyone know Japanese here except me?
I mean, I started trying to watch it, and I was like, oh, they didn't make an English version yet. Well, guess I'm done watching this.
Yeah, you gotta
And
wait.
now
But
they're
it's coming.
gonna.
It's coming though.
Let me turn in my Weeb card.
Wait a minute, Tino, you didn't get on my level. You see, when I'll give you a little comparison. When I discovered Kengan Ashura, the anime and manga series, I also discovered there was a mobile game, but it wasn't available in America. I downloaded an Asian game client just to download that game onto my smartphone, and I played it for a total of 4 minutes before quitting.
Wait, which game? The Nier game?
No, Kengan Ashura.
Oh,
It's like
why
a
did you
gotcha
do that?
Goddamn anime gotcha bullshit!
You know, I must
I still
say,
have the game on my phone. I just haven't played it.
I must say, your level of dedication is beautiful, and equally beautiful is the amount of laziness that immediately ensued once you were finally able to play the game.
I have climbed to the top of the mountain, and I'm just gonna climb back down now.
I've played many mobile games in Japanese. It's not that hard to do, even on both sides. But I will say that it is kind of frustrating to like look at attack names, and I'm like, I don't feel like looking this up. You know.
It's an attack.
It is nice.
I'll hurt the bad guy.
Yeah, it is nice that the content is current, though. You know, usually U.S. releases you have to wait a couple months for it to.
People have had to for Nier Reincarnation. Well,
Yeah.
Tino, what else? So, any other thoughts on Mr. Taro?
And his wild ride.
Mr. Taro's wild ride.
Given the craziness that happened in FF14, I can't wait to see what lunacy he comes up with next.
I look forward to
think
his
he
next
can.
game. I'm also going to say this. Taro himself has an interesting ethic for a Japanese game developer. It's funny because the closest analog developer I can describe in life is like he's like Toby Fox, the guy who made Undertale, in his temperament. And it's funny because Toby has interviewed Taro, and Toby took one of Taro's quotes about Undertale and put it into a trailer, and the quote was, "It's a good game, I think. I don't know. I was drunk."
It
Which
isn't
is-
Undertale. Didn't he make that whole thing himself, or was that something else?
He
he did,
so
didn't
he
he?
made
Or
it.
he had a
He made
small
most of it
team.
himself. He made most of it himself, but he got some artistic input. One of the
Okay.
big things on the Undertale sequel, Deltarune, is that he has admitted, "Okay, I need a team," and he's been putting it, and he's put a team together, and that's what's going on there.
Is Deltarune done?
No,
Okay, yeah,
I
I
thought it
didn't think
was.
so.
like Chapter 1 came out, and Chapter 1 is technically the demo,
Yeah, I
Um,
remember.
but there's supposed to be like more than that.
Yeah. Wait, it's. I love this. People also ask on Google, "Is Deltarune Chapter 2 out?" No, it is not.
Speaking
As of February 16th, it is not out yet.
Speaking of games that were made almost entirely by one person, new content for Doki Doki Literature Club is coming out tomorrow as of this recording.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're
What
getting
is
the
Mr.
physical version.
Salvato up to? I am interested to see.
Wait a minute.
I guess we're going to find out.
Will all of you hold on for like 2 seconds? Jesus Christ.
One?
Isn't this
Two.
a visual novel?
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's new content for the game that deletes your save files?
I think he's making a new game. I'm not 100% sure.
Didn't they
Speaking of
introduce a new
games that
character or
delete your
something?
save files,
Back to Yoko Taro. See, everything's connected.
God.
I want to point out that Taro is a troll like no other. Literally, the FF14 team was like, Taro, when he was making that raid, was like, "Can we have it delete their account after they beat it?" And the FF14
Oh,
team
that
was
would
like,
cause a riot. That would cause a riot.
Yoshi P looked at him, and I have to imagine Yoshi was like, "No, they will rightfully storm this building and kill us, and I will feed you to them."
Can I just comment on how much of a genius Yoshi P is as a game designer?
Oh yeah,
Because holy shit, like I watched a documentary about saving Final Fantasy 14. That probably wasn't the name, but that's essentially what the theme of the doc was. And just
the no clip
hearing
one?
about the what?
the no clip one, right? The three-parter.
Maybe I think so. Yeah. But
Mhm.
yeah, it talked about his background and how he used to play Western MMOs like EverQuest and Ultima Online. So we got a lot of inspiration from that in terms of what makes a sustainable game and keeps people from coming back and playing their game, and and just like hearing him talk and how frank he was about Square Enix's business practices and how stubborn they were about certain things and how he had to convince them pretty hard about certain aspects. It was just like a really inspiring documentary that I watched.
I mean, it does say something that of all the MMOs that Yoko Taro decided he could cross over with, he chose the one that had an apocalyptic reboot. In
Yeah.
the truest sense of, the old game sucks, toss out the entire old game, have an in-story reason we're tossing out the entire old game, and then make a new, better game.
Yeah, and 14 had the best graphical, the best the graphic style and the best gameplay style to really lend towards that, telling that story.
I mean, for God's sakes, in the Nier raid, they throw the Square Enix building at you.
Yeah, they do. That was weird.
I like how Will's eyes are narrowing. It's like, yeah, no, that happens. I'm not going to explain context.
Yeah, it's the third boss, the giant guy. He's got the giant fucking arms with the.
And you're playing over a city you're fighting over Tokyo, even though you're a bunch of characters from a fucking D&D style fantasy world.
Yeah,
if you look over to a distant rooftop, you might see a guy with oddly sized feet carrying a key.
Tino, will you stop? I don't have any more hands to put on my face.
That actually, so that's not true. That's like the one crossover they haven't done in FF14 yet, and I dread
No,
it.
but I'm saying that they have put the story infrastructure there to facilitate that if they so chose.
Look, I started to like really lose confidence and faith in anything that involves Square Enix when I found out that Stella Nox Floret was basically in Kingdom Hearts 3 as a giant little ball of light.
No, a little star of light.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. All I know is that, someone was pissed that their game didn't get made, and that erupted into this being a whole thing. And it's apparently he's not the only guy. There's more than one guy in Japan who's upset that things didn't happen. Nier Automata is a dude that's just honestly, I think he went to the convenience store one night and they didn't have his favorite brand of beer. And when that happened, he was like, forget working on Time Crisis 3. I'm going to mess with everyone for the next 2 decades, and that's why I drink.
Long story short, moral of the story, don't piss off a game developer because horrible things will happen.
Indeed.
Yep.
I want to state for the record that I love Nier Automata. I love Nier and Drakengard. They're amazing stories in video games. The only good game in that entire series is Nier Automata. Do not play Drakengard 1. Do not play Drakengard 3. And you can play Nier, but be ready. You did that to yourself.
So,
You watch a video on YouTube and get the story.
Thank you.
That's what YouTube was made for.
If we're gonna advertise that, can I recommend something for Nier?
Okay.
I'm scared.
Watch Super Best Friends. They did a playthrough with Pat and Liam, who like the playthrough was a lot of fun to watch, and towards the end of it, it got really kind of deep, and I really loved the dynamic between those two as they got to the ending, because there was some really interesting stuff that came up, and I felt.
Hey, Will, are Muffins Cakes?
You know what, Dave? I'm not prepared to answer that right now.
That was such a random question. That caught me off guard.
So that's the funny thing. It's not random. Will knows exactly why I'm asking.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm not going to say why.
Yeah. Sorry, Tina.
Oh, man.
It is literally one of the biggest jokes that came out of that playthrough.
But if I may, what is it? Steer the conversation to something a little less infuriating. And to something that Tino will actually like.
All right.
I have pre-ordered Age of Empires 4.
Yeah.
So that not only can I play that game as soon as possible, but so that I get the free DLC for Age of Empires 2 that lets me play as the Polish civilization. Go Poles!
Nice.
Yeah.
Enjoy your winged hussars while they last.
Actually, every civilization has winged hussars. Poland is going to have a different special unit. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, after we talk about this, I want to talk about not Countdown Vampires, but a similar
Yes, you do.
game.
We're going to talk about Countdown Vampires.
I want to talk about a
jumped
similar.
right in on that.
I want to talk
about
Steve, what have you done?
No,
He
listen.
has condemned us,
listen,
Tino. He has
listen,
condemned us to hell.
I'm listening. It's about Countdown Vampires.
So I ran into a game. I watch and Will probably knows about him. Balk with Soup.
Yeah.
I watched.
I know where you're going with this one.
Yeah, I know. You think you do know. So
I know.
It's a game called Martian Gothic.
Oh wait a minute. No, I don't know.
Okay. Great. So this is even better.
The name alone is interesting to me.
Does that have anything to do with the Warhammer 40K universe?
No.
Because I know they had I know they had a game called Battlefleet Gothic. That's why
this is a game that came out for PC and PlayStation 1 in the year 2000, developed by, well, no, not developed. I think it was published by Take-Two, which I think they were involved in Grand Theft Auto, or am I thinking of the wrong?
Yeah, no, that's the publishing house.
Yeah, so it's a game where you play as 3 characters, and they're all on this Martian base. There hasn't been any contact. There's been radio silence for 10 months, so they sent these 3 people to find out what the hell happened on this Martian base. So they get there and like everyone's dead. There's no one alive. And the game is trying to figure out basically what happened. But the premise is the three people, you choose who you want to play as, kind of like Maniac Mansion style. And you swap between the people. They never interact because they're all in different parts of the station, and you send items between each character with this like kind of like those tubes at like banks. It's kind of like that. You can send stuff to
Pneumatic
people.
tubes.
Yeah, pneumatic tubes. And so the game is just basically trying to figure out what happened, and you solve puzzles. And the weird angle with like the combat is while everyone is dead, turns out they all are like reanimated vampire zombie guys, and they're unkillable. They can only be suppressed or like stunned for a period of time. So they'll get up.
Unkillable.
You'll shoot them. They'll be incapacitated for a while, and then you might come back later and they'll get back up again.
So Steve, what you're saying is that you'll incapacitate an enemy, and then there's a countdown until you have to face another vampire. So it's countdown to vampires.
God fucking damn it!
Yeah.
You are lucky. You are lucky. You are over 100 miles away from me, so I can't smack you.
Yeah.
He's closer to me. I'll go over and smack him.
Yeah. Okay. Drive over here in the heat wave, fuckers.
My car has air
He's
conditioning.
got us there. Unfortunately, he's right. My car's AC is busted, so I can't do it.
So anyway, the game has incredible promise. However, I've been watching it with the Bakba Soup. He's been doing a playthrough of it, and I've noticed that the gameplay is like 20 hours. So the reason why this is not because the game takes a while. It's because the game's so overbearing with the amount of items that it gives you. Some of them are useless. Like the ones that you start with, some of the characters come in with things. Like the girl comes with like lipstick, and that has no meaning in the game whatsoever.
It just takes up inventory space.
Yeah, you literally have to throw it in a box and forget about it. Like there's like some bad gameplay choices that they've bestowed upon this game, but I think that
vampires and inventory management. Where have I seen that before?
Yeah. Well, so
we're gonna see it very soon, sooner than you guys think.
So I was thinking, I'm like, man, this game could be awesome if it was remade and like they fixed a couple of things, or it would be just a great movie, like a 2-hour long movie about the game and what they went through.
You know,
but I'm only like halfway done, so I don't know what.
If it were not for the hostile element, it reminds me of the Return of the Obra Dinn.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, the fact that they're unkillable is pretty wild because the ammo is not infinite. So eventually you have to either start dodging them, which by the way is really hard to do because you're in these like pretty small corridors.
Right.
So the dodging them is kind of hard. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So there's like a hard limit to like how long you can play the game. Pretty interesting.
I mean, they're on Mars. That's that's the point where you just open all the airlocks.
Yeah, well, they don't. Yeah.
And then they walk on the Martian surface
the
and you're double.
All right, so roll credits. Thanks for playing.
And then they walk on the Martian surface.
I guess so.
Anyway, well, you should definitely watch that game. Fun.
I'm down for that. I thought you were gonna say, because hold on, there was something very recent.
What game were you talking about?
Hold on 1 second. I will let you know.
Is it one of the like 30 Resident Evil mods that he plays?
Yeah, it was.
Did you watch Crocodile Mod? Crocodile Mod was ridiculous.
No, that's not the one I saw. There's one that he played and he uploaded 2 days ago called Tormented Souls.
Oh yeah, Tormented Souls was awesome. I want to play the fuck out of that game.
Yeah,
it's like Alone in the Dark meets Silent Hill meets Resident Evil. It's awesome.
Yeah, I too can read the video.
I am intrigued.
Steve.
Well, I'm explaining for the people that have not read the video title.
I am intrigued, honestly.
Yeah, there's only a demo, but the demo is actually pretty long, to be honest.
This is going to seem a little bit off topic, but Steve, when you mentioned just how old this Mars Gothic, when you mentioned how old it was, it made me think: have any of you played a game called Incoming by Rage Software?
Incoming. It sounds familiar, though I don't think.
Yeah, it does, but I don't know where I heard of it.
So it's basically like almost like an arcade shoot 'em up game where you could play in different vehicles. You would start in an anti-aircraft gun. It's basically an alien invasion, and you're supposed to defend Earth.
Okay.
You could play as an anti-aircraft gun. You could play as a helicopter, a fighter jet. There was even one part where you got to steal one of the alien fighters and could play as that. And they also made a sequel to it called Incoming Forces, where you were then put in the place of an alien who was defending against a human invasion on their homeworld. So, yeah,
interesting.
I happened upon it when I was over at a friend's house. Goodness, when I was like 10, I was like, "Ooh, this game is really fun." And then I went out and got it for myself. And then, when I found out there was a sequel, I went and got that. But I don't know, just you mentioning the Mars Gothic thing kind of reminded me of that. So yeah, just figured I'd ask if anybody had played it, but apparently I'm the only one.
Yeah, I like old games when it like the ones from like years ago that were like FMV driven, like old PC games. Like
what do you mean by FMV driven? I'm not familiar with that term.
The ones that have a lot of like full motion video.
Like video cutscenes.
Yeah, a lot of video cutscenes, and Phantasmagoria is a good one. I Have No Mouth Under My Scream. Dark Seed, I think, was also one. Yeah.
Did you ever play Titanic Adventure Out of Time?
Yeah, I did.
I highly enjoyed that one. It wasn't full motion video. It was like basically the whole game was an interactive GIF.
It was an interactive movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Titanic, Out of Time, was it?
Adventure Out of Time.
Well,
Lord, is that where the dog comes from?
No. You're thinking about the animated movie.
You play as a British spy who goes back in time accidentally, and like his career was like wrecked because he mishandled a secret mission that he had on the Titanic. And if you play your cards right, you can, by collecting certain items on the ship and talking to certain people and making sure certain people live and certain people don't, you can prevent, I think, the Russian Revolution, World War I, and World War II.
Oh.
I've now that I looked up Incoming, I have played this game.
You have? Okay.
Yes, I have.
I thought it seemed very odd to me that I was the only one, given present company. So all right.
Yeah. I definitely played this game. I don't remember too much about it, but the moment I looked at a screenshot, I'm like, I definitely played this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not not a story heavy game, but it was still a lot of fun to play. So
yeah.
And I still have I still ripped the audio from the CDs and put it in my iTunes. It's been there for years now.
Nice.
As you do. Oh,
as I do.
Speaking of game music, I have been playing another game recently, but I'll save this for next week. I've been playing the new Guilty Gear game.
Well, not next week.
Right. We're not recording for like
a month. Yeah. I think not next week, but next time we talk, I'll save it for this. But I've been playing the new Guilty Gear, and that's a great album. Fun fighting game that came with it.
Yeah.
All right then.
Much.
Wow.
Jesus. I mean, I want to play. I want to play Strive, but man, that $60 price tag is a hard pill to swallow.
Wait,
you know
Strive?
what? I understand.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Called, the full name is Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, okay.
It's
the latest
Strive. It's because it's supposed to be the fourth game, and the I and the V in Strive make 4.
Yeah, they just copied off of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like how I screwed up the name of our last episode.
But yeah, no. So one of the main draws though of Guilty Gear is that it is basically an anime version of a metal album cover, and the music goes fucking hard. And the guys decided. The guy who writes the game, directs the game, and composes the music but doesn't perform it, it turns out, decided this time every character theme is going to have lyrics. And it's a fucking 16-track metal album that serves as the main soundtrack of the video game. There is another part of Guilty Gear I'll want to talk about, but I'm going to spare you guys right now. Because when people talk about stupid, convoluted stories in video games, the Taro verse comes in number 3, Kingdom Hearts comes in number 1, but Guilty Gear lands that silver fucking medal. Holy shit. It is insane. It is big-brained. It is an anime metal album cover extrapolated into a 7-game series. Man, the lore is convoluted as hell, but it is awesome.
Does the fact that it has convoluted lore making me want to play it strike anyone as strange?
Yeah, I straight up, really. I don't give a fuck about that story. I gave up like years ago. I'm like, fuck this.
I do not blame you.
Steve cares the most about that story.
I'm like, I'm here for beating people up. I don't care about this story anymore.
Tino, I have great news for you. There's a YouTube channel called Wooly Versus, and he has done lore videos for the entire series up till Strive.
Yeah, I still don't give a fuck about that story. I don't even want to watch a video. I'm like, I'm too burned. I got burnt like years ago. I'm like, no.
Sitting there saying, this is too busy. This is all too busy. By the time you read it, you're dead.
That is true.
You're not even wrong, Master Shake. You're not even wrong.
I should have known that you were going to bring in an Aqua Teen quote for this.
Don't I always? I mean,
yeah, you do.
Well, we hit all the classics. We hit all the classics. We shit on Kingdom Hearts.
Did we?
Got the Aqua Teen.
Oh no, wait. I don't remember anyone saying actually like F Kingdom Hearts.
Well,
Dude, we talked
about Countdown Vampires, of course.
Well, I want to talk more about Countdown.
No, you don't. You really don't.
I always want to talk.
You didn't even know there was a second disc.
Look, we found that out together. That was the power of teamwork, and we discovered it as a team. And I think that speaks volumes for what this game does to friendships.
Well, America,
wait,
you heard it here first. We're sorry.
No, we're not. We never will be. It's all about Countdown Vampires.
Yeah,
apparently.
Apparently.
Are we wrapping up? Is that it?
Maybe the Countdown Vampires. Maybe the real Countdown Vampires was the friends we made along the way on discovering that second disc.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
We actually have this been at this for over an hour. We should probably.
Well, before we do,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a few shout-outs. Once again, I had a hiccup with my computer this past week, and I was actually, my first thought was to call Steve from Computer Mafia. Luckily, it was just like a little glitch. It wasn't anything serious, but I want to give him another shout out because even though things are reopening back up, local businesses need your help.
Link is in the description.
Yes, and I definitely want to support local businesses, so if you have any computer issues and you're anywhere near the Philadelphia area, even if you're an hour away, this guy's more than worth it. I promise you, he will help you get your computer back up and running. Speaking of local businesses, our very own Tino is starting one.
Link in the description.
Although his local business can be accessed from anywhere in the world, so I highly recommend you seek him out. Tino, please describe for the viewing audience exactly what you do with your new business.
Well, you might have noticed that I got a new microphone. I am doing audiobooks and voiceovers. So if you have an audiobook or a manuscript that needs to be narrated, or you have any sort of voiceover that needs to be done and you're looking for a male voice, hit me up. I've got plenty of editing experience as far as video and visual effects are concerned as well. So I'm going to start with audiobooks and voiceovers, but I might not stay there. There's a whole lot of stuff that's in the works. But Andrew Valentino Media, easy enough to remember. I hope to hear from you soon. And just as a quick review for this newly formed business, I can actually, and I think we all can, vouch for Tino.
his video editing skills are far above and beyond what I've seen from other people who are working professionally. He really does put his heart and soul into his work. We have dozens of New York trip videos that prove this, but aside from just that, I've seen his other dedication on projects. Even when he's out of his depth, Tino will learn the skills he needs to learn in order to not only put together a competent project, but one that will exceed your expectations. So, Tino, best of luck in starting a new business.
Those are kind words, and I appreciate it.
I'd like to add on to this. I trust Tino's skills so much that I have recommended him to outside projects for his professional ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and if that film was public, I would put the IMDb, but
I'm not talking about. I'm not just that film, but the Montclair Gamer Symphony Orchestra continues to thank you for your recording prowess as well. That one's obviously public because those videos are on goddamn YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. So Montclair Gamer Symphony Orchestra, where Dave sings as a bass. Definitely check them out.
No,
check their
tenor.
videos out.
I'm a tenor.
If you what?
I'm a tenor.
You're a tenor?
Yeah,
man. That tells you how good I am at paying attention.
It's fine.
In any case, Dave sings, and if you like video game music, if you like orchestras, you'll like these guys. They do fantastic work.
Look, we know that Dave's not a soprano because he's not James Gandolfini's son.
Damn. And every day I have to live with that.
That's more of a plug for the fact that the Many Saints of Newark is coming out later this year, and that trailer.
I can't fucking believe they're doing that, but I think that's a topic for another week.
I think it's going to be great, but we'll talk about that later on, probably later in the summer, right before it comes out. Speaking of later in the summer, one last plug on my end. I am still playing through Resident Evil 8 on my channel proper. I am
link in the description.
I am going to give a spoiler-heavy review at some point either in August or September. So if you are playing through the game and you don't want me to spoil it for you, play it as hard as you can over this summer break. So I'm going to dive deep because I've already been doing research. I think my favorite waifus from that game are Donna Benevento and Mother Miranda. I have a theory about Mother Miranda wanting to save Ethan from a terrible marriage, but we'll get to that.
We're going to need a new section called Will's Waifus.
Yes, I will. Make
oh
a
Lord,
list
it
for
rhymes. Oh Lord, it's alliterative. It's alliterative. Fuck
yes.
my ass.
I will give you a list. Just from Resident Evil, we have Mother Miranda, Donna Benevento, Zoe from Resident Evil 7, Helena Harper, and adult Sherry Birkin from Resident Evil 6. I'm going to make sure I specify the adult because I know Tino, after he was a dirty liar and told everyone that I simp for Lady Dimitrescu, he'll be like, oh, Will likes, Sherry from Resident Evil 2. No, we're not getting the FBI involved in this one, Tino. No. I like Jill
Well, that's all the time I have for me. Good night.
Well, goodbye, everybody. Fuck this shit.
I like Jill Valentine. I like Claire Redfield. I like Rebecca Chambers. And
are you talking about Resident Evil 1 Rebecca Chambers?
It sounds like Will likes
I'm
everybody
talking about
but
once
Lady
she was
Dimitrescu.
legal.
Okay.
Which was in Resident Evil 0 because she was technically 18. So there we go, Steve. Aha.
Okay.
I got you there. Yeah.
Sure.
So
you like her in the basketball outfit. Okay.
So I want to plug something
I'm
real
not
quick.
Wesker. I don't have a locked drawer in my room.
Fair enough. We'll get into this later.
He was wrapping presents. Don't worry about it.
Tino's got this
Don't
look.
come in here. I'm wrapping presents.
Tino's got this look, and I don't want to terrify him to death. I do want to plug something real quick. I am participating in
we've got more plugs here than a power strip.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't have any plugs, so I guess this will be the last.
I am participating in a playthrough / acting out of the first and possibly the entire series of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games. On my friend's channel, it's called Deckels because his name's Dan Eccles. I will send Tino a link to put that in the description. Parts are out of order, and part 1 is not missing because it wasn't recorded. But I hope you enjoy me being a judge who slowly loses his soul over the course of the entire arc of the series. Phoenix writes a head trip, and we'll have to discuss that at some point.
Dave loses his soul. Wow, this just got depressing.
So
not me, the judge in that game.
So I'm gonna.
And if you had to put up with the shit he did, you would too. Sorry,
Steve
Will.
says he doesn't have any plugs, but he does. Steve wants to plug a memory from 2 years ago. Because exactly on this day from 2 years ago, we went bowling, and
oh gosh,
and Flora got drunk.
Yes.
And was telling, like, she would do things like tell the bowling ball to go right, please.
Yeah, she did this shit. She was like, go the other way.
And then she also would just, at one point, she just kept saying, ball, ball. Like, literally the bowling ball was veering off of, like, the path and going left. And she would just go, ball, ball, ball. And I'm like, this is great.
She was calling strikes and balls. Sounds reasonable to me.
According to Steve, she drank all of his margarita. And I loved how she ordered $15 worth of Taco Bell before he even touched the menu.
Yeah, that is true.
I will be sending screenshots of all of these comments into the Discord for Tino to add into the video.
We love you, Flora.
Yes.
Long
live Flora.
I feel like Steve was going to dispute that claim.
Uh-oh.
No, don't worry about it.
So I guess on that note, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us.
Wait. We don't have anything else to talk about, right? And don't lie to me or I'll know.
God damn it, you're stealing my lines now?
You weren't saying a thing. You were looking down at your phone.
I was waiting for the right moment.
Somebody had to do it. I thought you weren't going to.
Bitch.